Hello, back again on the Top Recap channel. This time I will tell a movie's entitled Elias. Let's get straight into the storyline. The story begins with the introduction of a man named Elias, who was at his rent at the time. We are told that Elias is one of France's former best special forces. However, in his last war in Afghanistan, all his troops were killed, and only Elias managed to survive. Since then, he was traumatized and decided to leave the military, and Elias continues to be unemployed today. Not long after, Elias was seen getting ready because tonight he had an appointment with a friend at a bar. Arriving at the bar, Elias was immediately welcomed by his friend, Hector. Apparently, Hector has a business in escorting. He also intends to give Elias a job. Hector explained that a conglomerate family from Dubai was holidaying in France. They had rented a luxury villa and would spend a month in France. The family needed another bodyguard to look after their daughter. If Elias was willing, Hector could immediately put Elias on the job, especially since the salary was quite generous. However, hearing the offer, Elias seemed uninterested. He left, leaving Hector behind.
Pour toi. Très bien payé.
Sur un truc.
In the morning, when Elias returned to the rented house, he was surprised by the presence of the landlord, who was already in his room. He wanted to collect the rent because Elias had been in arrears for 3 months. Elias asked the man for time and promised to pay off all his rent next month. After that, Elias, confused about where else to find money, finally went to Hector to accept the job offered last night. There, Hector again explained his job, to be a personal bodyguard for the daughter of a Dubai conglomerate family. Hector gave Elias a mobile phone and asked him to contact him immediately if anything happened at work. Long story short, Elias went to the luxury villa rented by the Dubai conglomerate family to start his job. Before starting work, Elias was gathered with 3 other bodyguards and given a briefing by Jamal. We are told that Jamal is a member of the Dubai conglomerate family. While Jamal was briefing the bodyguards, a woman named Amina arrived, who turned out to be Jamal's sister. Amina's biological daughter, or Jamal's niece, Noor, appeared not long after. Jamal explains to Elias that his job is to escort Amina and her daughter, Noor. Amina is the 6th wife of the richest oil boss in Dubai, while Noor is the daughter of the oil boss. Jamal asked Elias to look after them as best he could while on holiday in France, and he didn't want anything bad to happen. After understanding his duties, Elias was taken to a room that served as a mess for the bodyguards. Elias was dressed in his bodyguard uniform like everyone else an hour later. He went to the swimming pool to watch Amina, who was swimming. After finishing swimming, Amina asked Elias to accompany Noor to lunch. However, Noor seemed uncomfortable with Elias's presence, as she didn't really want to be escorted by anyone.
Pas faire souffrir les innocents.
Later, Noor went outside to feed her pet dog.
C'est là. Oui.
In the afternoon, Elias received a package sent by a courier. When she saw the gate open, Noor ran out on her bicycle.
Noor.
Elias, who knew this, immediately chased Noor. Not long after, Noor stopped because in front of her were 2 men on a motorbike who looked suspicious. Elias immediately grabbed his weapon because he suspected the 2 men had evil intentions. However, the 2 men only looked at Noor sharply and then left. However, before leaving, Elias saw that one of them had a diamond tattoo on his hand. Quickly, Elias brought Noor back into the villa for fear that there were kidnappers who were targeting Noor. After the incident, Jamal gathers Elias and the other bodyguards. Here, Jamal scolds Elias for taking Noor out to play. Elias tries to explain that it was Noor who ran out, and he only chased after her to save her. However, Jamal still doesn't believe him and warns Elias never to take Noor out again.
Noor!
Later that night, Elias came to Noor, who was looking at the stars with a telescope. Elias asked Noor to go to bed because it was late, but Noor refused because she hadn't got a good photo of the stars yet. Noor then apologized for the incident earlier in the day because it was her fault that Elias had to be scolded by Jamal. From then on, Elias and Noor became closer. The next day, Jamal and Amina were seen arguing. Apparently, Amina wanted to take Noor out shopping like everyone else. However, Jamal forbade it because he was worried that bad people wanted to kidnap them. Soon, Noor came and said that Jamal had no heart because Noor and her mother were like birds in a cage who were not allowed to go out. After arguing, Jamal finally agrees, as long as they are escorted by Elias. On the way, Noor looked very happy to see the atmosphere outside. Noor wanted to live freely like ordinary people, but Jamal always restrained her. Long story short, they returned to the villa after they finished shopping. Elias took them home quickly because he worried something unwanted would happen. Elias was stuck in a long traffic jam on the way home at a red light. However, at the same time, a motorbike suddenly stopped right beside Elias's car. The person riding the motorbike had a diamond tattoo on his hand, just like the person who intercepted Noor yesterday. Realizing something was wrong, Elias immediately stepped on the gas, and a chase ensued. In the middle of the chase, Amina blurted out that they had found us. Long story short, Elias managed to get Amina and Noor away from the pursuing biker. Upon arriving at the villa, Elias tried to ask Noor about who the people who were chasing them were. Elias began to suspect that Noor's family was hiding something. Finally, Noor told him that she and her mother had come to France not for a holiday, but to hide from her stepfather, who was an oil boss. The oil boss from Dubai married her mother when Noor was 3. At first, the man is very kind to Noor, but one day, he forces her to marry his 50-year-old business partner. Because of this, Noor and her mother were taken to France by Jamal, her uncle. Hearing Noor's story, Elias realizes that the people chasing them are the oil boss's men.
Je serai condamné. Elias.
Soon after, Noor went to Jamal to tell him what had happened. Jamal and his servant were shot by a sniper who turned out to be the oil boss's men. Not only that, the oil boss's troops immediately attacked other bodyguards until a shootout broke out. In the middle of the battle, Elias saw Noor's pet dog bite the hand of one of the enemies. Elias began to act brutally, finishing off the enemies one by one who tried to get upstairs.
ما في أي أثر للهدف.
Afterwards, Elias managed to save Amina, who hiding in a cupboard. Amina begged Elias to save Noor at this moment, as she had been taken towards the swimming pool. Elias quickly took Amina to the car and then returned to the pool to save Noor. There, he saw Noor with her mouth gagged and about to be taken away by the oil boss's men. Carefully, Elias manages to save Noor and takes them both away in the car. On the way, their car was again chased by a car. Luckily, Elias managed to overturn the car. After that, Elias decided to dump his car in a public parking lot and took Amina and Noor away by bus. They finally arrived at a slum, where Elias met a woman named Megan. As it turns out, Megan is Elias's adopted sister. She then invited Elias, Amina and Noor to enter her house. A few moments later, Elias was seen being cared for by Megan's friend. Meanwhile, Amina gave Megan 2 rare diamonds as gratitude for giving them shelter.
Je crois que je sais pas faire autrement.
The next day, Elias woke up and was surprised by Megan, who suddenly scolded him. Megan takes Elias to the TV room and shows him the news that Elias is now a fugitive. In the news, Elias is slandered for killing Jamal and some of his bodyguards. He is also accused of kidnapping Amina and Noor, who are claimed to be the wife and daughter of a Dubai oil boss. Elias, who felt that everything had been planned, went to Hector, who had previously given him the job. Once there, Elias immediately arrested Hector, as he thought that Hector had set him up. However, Hector swore that he knew nothing. In fact, he was surprised to hear the news. Here, Hector thinks that the news is true, that Elias has killed Jamal and kidnapped Amina and Noor.
Famille, le père, la mère, la fille, tous, ils les ont montrés aux infos. T'as pas vu les images?
In the end, to prove it all, Hector invites Elias to go to the luxury villa right now to check the CCTV. Arriving at the villa, Elias was surprised to see that the villa was very neat and had no bloodstains. In fact, yesterday, the villa was very messy because it became a place of war. Then, Elias and Hector went to the CCTV room to play yesterday's footage. In the video, it is clear that Elias slaughtered all of Jamal's bodyguards and then kidnapped Amina and Noor. Elias swears that on that day, an army of killers came to attack. But luckily, Elias was able to defeat them all and take Amina and Noor away.
Je les ai tous tués.
Next, Hector tries to look into the CCTV footage because he fears that the video has been edited. As a result, Hector could catch a glimpse of Noor's dog attacking one of the enemies. When the video footage was paused, it was clear that it was not Elias who killed the guards, but the enemy whose hand was bitten by the dog. In the end, Hector believes that Elias is innocent and that all the CCTV footage has been edited. Before they leave, Hector suddenly remembers that all of this must have something to do with his friend Durante, because he was the one who recommended Elias for hire as a bodyguard for Jamal's family.
Copie tout ça là-dessus.
Durante.
Quickly, they went straight to Durante's residence, and Elias interrogated him. Elias asked if Durante had manipulated the CCTV video footage to set him up. At first, Durante pretended not to know. However, after Elias gave torture, then Durante confessed. Durante said that he manipulated the CCTV footage because he got a big payment from the oil boss, Noor's stepfather. Hearing this, Elias immediately finished off Durante without further ado. Elias and Hector visit Amina and Noor in the morning at Megan's house. Here, Hector asks where Amina will go next, because sooner or later, the oil boss's troops will definitely find them. Amina replies that she wants to go to England as she has relatives living there. However, the problem is that Amina doesn't know how they can get to England. Hector explains that there is only one way for Amina and Noor to get to England safely, and that is by joining a freight container. Later that evening, Elias and Hector took Amina and Noor to the container. However, on the way, Amina asks to stop by a restaurant because they haven't eaten anything since morning. While they were eating, Elias noticed a suspicious man getting into a van. Quickly, Elias followed the man. When inside the van, several other people were present, so Elias immediately beat them all. After successfully knocking them out, Elias checked the arm of one of them. There were dog bite marks on Noor's arm, which meant they were the oil boss's men. After that, Elias asked Hector to immediately take Amina and Noor to continue their journey. Long story short, they have arrived at the container that will take Amina and Noor to England. When they got into the container, it turned out that Amina and Noor were not only there, but many locals who wanted to try their luck in England. However, for some reason, Noor suddenly felt bad and did not want to part with Elias. As a result, Elias decided to come with them to the UK because, in France, he was also a fugitive.
Or they will find you. Cell phone, airplane mode, only.
Three hours later, the container car suddenly stopped, causing everyone inside to panic.
C'était quoi ça?
C'est rien.
Elias asked Noor and Amina to stay calm, as he was sure everything would be fine. Shortly afterwards, a group of soldiers opened the door and opened fire on them all. The troops then take Noor away, as they are the oil boss's men. Amina is also seen being killed because the oil boss only wants Noor to be married off to his business partner. After the troops left apparently, Elias still managed to survive because he had previously taken refuge behind another person's body. Elias could only remain silent when he saw Amina, who had died. Then he immediately left the container because soon, the container would explode. On the other hand, several people with diamond tattoos on their hands were seen holding someone hostage. Of course, they are all subordinates of the oil boss, and the person being held hostage is Hector, Elias's best friend. It was from Hector that they found out that Noor and Amina went to England because Hector could not bear the torture, so he finally revealed the information. However, Hector also said that Elias was a difficult person to die for, and he would avenge their actions. But cruelly, they immediately finished off Hector. The scene returns to Elias, who now goes to a pilot, his former military colleague. Elias begged the pilot to take him to Dubai, precisely to one of the highest hotels there. Elias planned to save Noor, who had been taken by her stepfather. It turns out that Elias knows Noor's location from Noor's previously left behind tablet. The pilot, indebted to Elias, was willing to take Elias that day.
Je pourrais pas rester longtemps sur place. Je vais devoir faire vite, Elias.
Long story short, Elias has arrived in Dubai and is now right above the oil boss's hotel. Quickly, Elias parachuted down to land on top of the hotel building. Then, cautiously, Elias entered the building to find Noor. Elias unhesitatingly took out the 2 guards in front of Noor's hotel room. Elias then took the ID card of one of the guards, which could be used to access Noor's room. Finally, Elias found Noor, and they hugged. Now, it was time for Elias to take Noor away. However, this was no easy task, as he had to deal with dozens of guards after the security alarm went off. After all the oil boss's men were taken down, Elias planned to take Noor to escape by carrying her. However, as they were about to exit the lift, the boss's right-hand man got in the way. A fierce duel ensued. Amid the fight, Noor desperately took a knife and made a brave act. However, as a result of this, the oil boss's right hand became angry and intended to kill Noor. Luckily, Elias managed to get up and immediately finished off his enemy. After that, Noor took Elias to a secret lift because all public lifts had been disabled. However, the secret lift must pass through the oil boss's room first before reaching the roof of the building. When passing by the oil boss's room, Elias seemed eager to finish off Noor's stepfather. However, Noor begs Elias not to hurt her stepfather and that they should just run away. Soon, Elias and Noor reached the roof of the building, and Elias again used a parachute to bring Noor down. In the end, they managed to escape. 2 days after the incident, Elias took Noor to a village in rural Morocco. Elias had an aunt who lived there, and he planned to stay with his aunt to raise Noor. Elias's aunt did not object, as she had lived alone for a long time. 1 month passed. Now, Noor attends a public school like other children. She feels happier with this simple life compared to her previous life, as a mistreated child of a rich person. Meanwhile, Elias considers Noor his child and promises to protect her.